Welcome to the Outreach Mentor once again. Today is a very special episode. It's on personalities, and I have with me a very special guest. She is none other than Miss Kanika Banerjee, Communique Advertising's Managing Director. I was so fortunate to have worked with her for almost 8 years. We have Kanika taking us through the journey of her advertising agency, telling us about the job roles available, the opportunities, and all of the different departments that are there in an advertising agency. I hope you do find it really inspiring. And so now I hand it over to Ms. Kanika Banerjee to show us her award-winning agency.
And welcome to Communique Advertising. Myself, I'm Kanika Banerjee, and I would love to tell you more about my agency. We've been here 20 years and more, so I'm happy to reach out to a younger generation, tell them about advertising, tell them about what this world means, and I would love to share with you my agency. So I'm going to start with how the agency generally looks like. So come along. This is the reception. This is of course a small little conference room, and then we get into how an agency actually looks. You will find that our walls are done very well, art that we have created. This is actually called the studio. So this is where we do all the creative work, and we also concentrate on recreation. As you can see, we have a pool table here, so when people are tired, we kind of, play pool. And this is our motto: when two forces unite, both enriching the other's talent, success can be achieved. This is our credo. So partnering our clients, understanding their point of view, and adding a sparkle to their every thought helps us attain a view in marketing. So this is the studio, and we have a studio which is the creative department. Now you ask me what this department is for. And what I would like to share with you is that this department is where all the creative thinking happens. We create work, then it comes into finalization, then there is artworks. Currently, this is the art directors and the designers working on the designs, finishing designs for all the clients. So this is the studio. This is one of the most important departments. Then we get into something called account handling. So this is the account handling team, and what they do is basically service clients. It's also called client servicing across different agencies. Account handling people have moved away because accounts also talks about maths. So that's why many people call it client servicing. What their job is primarily is talking to clients, understanding the brief, writing a brief down, sending the jobs for approval, asking the client for feedback, giving them whatever views, getting their views, and then again incorporating it back to the studio. So this is exactly what the client servicing role is. So they take the brief, then they actually put the job in the studio, then the studio finishes the job, and then from there, again it comes back to the client servicing team, and then they email the job and they have to build the job. So these are the 4 steps that the client servicing actually does. What's important about this role is understanding the brief. Now, it is their job to get the brief right. Otherwise, the studio will be working on a continuous way without getting what the client really wants. So if we do not deliver, we do not understand what the client wants, it's very difficult to deliver. So this is the client servicing team. We also have a small traffic department. Is also a department that is used for bigger agencies. What the traffic actually does is traffic, not like the road traffic, it's a studio traffic. So we get the jobs, then we schedule the jobs for the day, and then we ensure that the jobs for the day actually go out, given back to the account handlers. And then there is the reception and the admin, which is this. There is a receptionist here, and she's obviously like every other office, does her job. Then there is, of course, the conference room, and this is where the accounts sits. So this is where the accountants are, and then there is the digital marketing team, and the digital marketing team is also sitting, and working regularly for digital marketing. So these are the things that we do. This is what Communique is about. These are the very different departments. So just now I described to you exactly all the different departments. I'm a creative person, I'm the creative head. So there's a creative head, then there is a studio which actually does all the work, and then there is the account handling team, and then I showed you there's a digital team, and then of course the admin work which is done by a receptionist. There is an accountant, and there is an office boy. So that's how the whole setup is. This is a normal setup for any advertising agency. Like I said, in certain larger agencies, there is something called a traffic manager, who actually is the liaison between the creative and the client servicing team. So these are the various departments in an agency. And now what I'm going to tell you a little bit about agency work is that whilst agency work is very, very, it's very creative, it's a fun environment, it's, you can go out and do that kind of an environment. It's very creative, it's a very casual, it's a very happy environment. Not all the time, sometimes it does get stressful. We have tremendous deadlines, and very often the client, pleasing a client is difficult because the client is always right, as you know. So we're a service industry, and we are continually trying to keep our clients happy, give them the best of work. We guide them as to what are the marketing things that what are the marketing things they can do. We actually present to them, they give us a budget, we take the budget, we cut the budget up saying, you should use this much for radio, this much for digital media, this much for above the line outdoor. So we have all these various media that we can choose from, and then we actually go to the client, we present creatives, the client will tell us, then he will pick and choose which direction he would like to go, and that's how the whole agency operates. So when it comes to advertising, what are the kind of careers you can choose? So let me tell you a little bit of the number of careers that are available for you as a graduate of advertising. First is, of course, let's go via the studio. The studio has jobs which are art director, designers. So what do they need? They require to study mass communications. They need to do a degree in art, not fine art, it should be a commercial art degree. And of course the use of computers, digital, is a part of today's world, and ideally the course that the person chooses should have digital in it. So it should be part of the course, and also learning of softwares like Adobe Photoshop, Adobe Illustrator, which every designer actually uses to design. Obviously one must have a flair of some design, some amount of creativity to get into a career of advertising. So this is one aspect, which is an art director. You can start off as a graphic designer, then get into a junior art director level, and then get into an art director, then the creative director. That's how the progress happens. The second career that you can choose is copywriting, which is again in the same stream of advertising. So there is copywriting, which is part of advertising. For that, you should have a very good flair with language. You should be clever use of words, and all of this. So this too belongs to the creative department. So there's an art director, there's a copywriter, and there is of course the creative director. And there is a whole lot of low-level designers. They actually are called studio artists, and they finish the artworks. So these are the professions available in the studio. The other things are obviously marketing. So you should have an MBA. You should study MBA in advertising, with advertising as your subject. So MBA in marketing is very, very good. And then slowly you join as an account handler or a client services person, client services executive, then it goes on to client services director, and more. So that is marketing. Marketing also is a very important stream, and it's a very, very lucrative part of advertising, as is an art director. So these are highly paid salaried jobs. Then there is, of course, digital. Digital is such a broad thing. So in digital, you can have social media manager, you can have SEO manager. Digital is very wide. You can have an entire department of media planning, which actually buys digital spends. So what is that? That is about all these Google display ads and all of this. Because now we are in a kind of a turn from a normal advertising agency, from a traditional advertising agency. Now we're in the crux of going into full digital. That's why the media department is also very critical. However, many people want to deal with media separately. So there are media agencies that have set up separately. But media is also a very, very nice role where you actually spend the budget. A client gives you, say, 1 million. So 1 million, you'll say 200,000 goes into Google display ads, 50,000 goes into Facebook, 80,000 goes into, there is Instagram. So all of these other channels, then there's TikTok, then there is YouTube advertising, all of this. So that is media planning, a very, very interesting role. However, not many agencies have media planning within their scope of services. Media agencies have kind of segregated and have their own, agencies. But there are many advertising agencies who have this intrinsically within that agency. So this is also a very, very interesting career. Should be very good in numbers, should like planning, should be able to dedicate very many hours. And this is a very, very nice stream for someone who's really interested in social media. Get in as a media planner, then you go into media buying. So media planner, media buying, media maintaining media, monitoring, that means what has released, then creating a report and telling the client, this many clicks happen, pay-per-click, this is what has happened, this is what conversions. So there's an entire report that's generated. So it's again a very, very interesting field. So these broadly are the other departments that an advertising agency proposes. So these are the areas that any one of you could look for a job. Somebody wants a career in advertising. There is art, there is client servicing, there is digital, and there is media, and of course the regular admin jobs, which are unfortunately not, it's just the same receptionist and all of these. But this is what an advertising agency offers as careers to somebody new. But obviously remember, you need to study a course for all of these. Whichever stream you choose to pursue, you need to add this to your subjects in college, so that you know that you graduate with something that takes you closer to advertising. I hope I've clarified all that you require, and if there's anything else you need, you can speak to Marie and I'll be more than happy to help you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so very much, Kanika, for sharing with us such valuable input with regards to an advertising agency. So if you like this video, do write into theoutreachmentor@gmail.com, subscribe, and get connected.